Hello, my name is Glenn Clausen. I am the author of Evansing, Heart of the Irish Kingdom, and I write so as to entertain and teach life truths in the course of telling stories. Be sure to stay to the end of the video, at which time I will share with you a specific action step, which will help you move closer towards a more prosperous life. I'm going to read a portion from chapter 1 of my book. Before I do, though, I'm just going to share a little bit what happened just prior to this reading. Edwin discovered that raiders from Thesis, a neighboring kingdom, were coming towards the village. He warned the people in the village, and the village chieftain sent out scouts. Scouts came back. They reported that, yes, it's a very large force, but they are going away from the village down the road towards people in that area. The chieftain started to talk over with some of the clan's leaders whether it was safe to risk their lives for people down the road. They would be against a party far superior to them in size. Edwin interrupted them and said it was the only right thing to do. He encouraged them to consider that the next time it may be their turn to have the people down the road help them. Several of the men told Edwin to mind his own business. The chieftain said his first priority was the safety of his village. He did not think it was wise to endanger his people when the odds were so against them. Edwin argued the party could be aware of their little settlement and come for them on the way back. The chieftain said they would prepare a defense along the path toward the huts. There existed an ideal spot for them to ambush the invaders. They could hold a spirited defense, even against a vastly superior force. Further imploring was useless. Edwin decided he could not stay with them. He left, choosing to take a path through the forest, which ran more or less parallel to the road headed west. At first, Edwin couldn't hear anything, but after about 200 yards, he started to hear the rear guard of the Thesis party. The raiders were unusually loud, which indicated they must be extremely confident, even to the point of being overconfident. Was it because they had an extra large number of men? Or was it because of something else which gave them an advantage? As he continued along, the sounds became more distinct, even to the point of hearing the conversation between the warriors. He repeatedly heard the name Alwyn, mentioned with a sense of, we have them now. Edwin thought to himself, Alwyn, isn't that the druid priest from the kingdom of Randar? What would he be doing with the men from Thesis? The reputation of Alwyn was bigger than life because the renown of his power as a purveyor of evil druid magic was widespread. In predominantly Christian Ireland of the 11th century, there were few people still carrying on druid magic and practices. Alwyn, however, was a big exception. Fiercely defiant of the church, he practiced magic on behalf of whoever would hire him. Though few people would openly acknowledge their belief in druid magic, Alwyn had a steady demand for his services. The people of Ireland still had a profound respect for the old ways. Much of their spirituality consisted of a mixture of Christendom and the old ways, including Druidism. Edwin continued to gain ground and wondered how he could make a difference with such a large force. A thought came to him. He had his bow and a full quiver of arrows with him. With one arrow, he could take out Alwyn, and the whole Thesis base of confidence would be gone. With this insight, he started moving faster and faster until he got alongside the mid part of the war party. He inched along the ground until he could see the group passing by him about 50 yards away. There he noticed the one who must be Alwyn, for he was all done up in druid fashion and looked very confident. He would have to get ahead of him and find a place for a clear shot. Ideally, it would also enable him to make his escape, for there would be a horde of Thesis warriors looking for him. Another 40 yards ahead, Edwin found the place which looked like it would fit both requirements. Again, he inched himself along for a clear sight line of Alwyn. Here he came looking sure of himself. With great care and self-assurance, Edwin drew back his bow and aimed at Alwyn's heart. Then with deadly accuracy, the arrow went straight at Alwyn's heart. He looked stunned and even had a look of disbelief, but nonetheless he went down and stayed down, very still. The thesis party around Edwin stopped abruptly and stared at the demise of their hopes to rout the people of Elfrith. Then a release of wild rage went out among the warriors as they started to look around for who could have done this. I selected this passage because it demonstrates how Edwin shows such courage and wisdom in the face of overwhelming odds. He is determined, even though he is alone, he is going to either stop or at least hinder this force that has come from Thesis. Now, I have that specific action step. May you be infused with boldness and courage when facing great obstacles. You can order a copy of my book, Evansing, Heart of the Irish Kingdom, by clicking on one of the Amazon links below. As well, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share on social media this video. Until next time.